Well, hello guys, welcome back to Much Better. um, Copy. We worked on the other computer last night, and I swear that helped more than the medication did. And so that is running, and that is up and running, and that didn't get taken out by anything, but there was something wrong with it in the first place. I told them it never ran right from the first time I got it, and it's kind of like a glitchy computer. But it will serve its purpose. It doesn't have to be able to work that well for its purpose. So anyhow, we're looking forward to setting up the recording equipment. Sorry, I'm still back on that subject. We're looking forward to setting up the recording equipment. And I was amused because as I was going to make this video, I was poking around YouTube to see if I could mention certain words, and it turns out the hub that is dedicated to has a YouTube channel. Don't get that excited. It's suitable for workplace, and it's very tastefully done. I don't know if you'll call the channel the hub very tastefully done, but the ads are. And I was like, yeah, all right, because we're normalizing stuff now. It used to be back in the day, and I know it's still this way some places, it was like, for shame, how dare you? And there are articles you can read about how it's gonna, like, destroy your marriage. And, it's evil, and it was sent to Earth by Satan. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's, it's a natural part of being a human being, unless you're naturally asexual. Or whatever label you wear, it's a natural part of being a human being. And if other people want to make entertainment for you to watch for free, that is entirely up to them. So it was interesting because I think too many Christians, and I'm not being mean, get into Loki and they have that sinful mindset, and then they find out he has this very earthy side. And their minds are blown. They don't know what to do because they've been taught all their life that this is bad. I was raised Catholic. I know exactly what they're taught. They were taught it was bad and it was terrible and blah, 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 blah. And yet, being human beings, being biological creatures, they're not immune. And so they struggle. I used to have a Christian stalker when I wrote articles. And I work with a lot of fertility gods, and I write about them. And you guys know me. I usually don't pull punches unless I'm looking to not be demonetized. And, this guy would stalk me and he would tell me, how filthy I was and how horrible I was and how a true Christian fought against this stuff. And I'm like, I don't think you really understand. Paganism has nothing to do with Christianity. It does not. It's a completely different mindset. I'm not trying to be a good Christian. And it was just weird because in his worldview, only his worldview could exist. And I'm like, I don't care what you think about mature content. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you hate it. I don't care if you make it. It's just, you can't force it on other people. Like, I don't tell people that come to the channel, oh, you have to go watch this, or don't ever watch this, or whatever. I don't care what you do with your life. You messed up your life. That's your problem. But, yeah, and it was weird because you obviously got the idea why he was reading the articles after a while. And I can't use any of the appropriate quotes I can think of or I'd be demonetized. And it was just really creepy because he obviously wanted to get his content in a way that he could feel self-righteous about. And it's like, really, dude? Really? That's like the one and only way I could think of to not, well, I don't think Loki would care, but to approach the subject of, I'm going to get it in a way that, I'd say backdoor, but that sounds so wrong. I'm going to get it in a way to get it and get satisfaction out of it, but I'm going to still feel self-righteous at the end of the day. Dude, that's not cool. It's not cool. Just, get what you want. If that's your particular thing, whatever, I don't particularly need to hear about it. Like I told people on the other channel, I don't care what you do. I just don't need to hear about it. If you write weird crap or you make videos or something, just don't tell me. Okay? Because everybody that's on YouTube, unfortunately, gets a couple of those fans. I had one send me mail one time. And I don't need to know. I don't care if you do it, but I truly don't need to know about it. And it's like, why did this guy feel the need to tell me? Was that part of his thing? It was just really weird. And I kind of felt sorry for him because I'm like, well, if you would just admit to what you want, you could go on everybody else's favorite hub, watch his stuff, get it out of your system, kind of normalize yourself and stop acting like a creepy AF stalker. And it was just weird, and it's part of the reason I got out of writing, because every time I would write, this guy would be there, and you would block him, and he would just show up again. And there was a, what I call Christo Wicca, and she was one of the bad ones that, instead of becoming a witch, she basically used Wicca at the end of her name to pretty much assault everyone that was doing stuff she didn't like. Like, she would tell me that I couldn't work with the voodoo on spirits because I wasn't black. And I'm like, oh, I got news for you about Italians, honey. And she would tell me that it was cultural appropriation to talk about totems and stuff like that. I'm like, listen, stupid. Every culture has had some kind of totem animal, spirit animal, whatever. It's not just Native American. You're just showing how ignorant you are, little white girl. And if I get mad enough to call you white, I have had it with you, because you know what I mean. There are people that are so white bread that you could put them in the toaster all day and they wouldn't brown an inch. I'm gonna get demonetized. But what I realized last night is part of why I got sick was I was not letting any of the anger out. And you get angry all the time on YouTube because every schmuck looking for an argument or looking to feel better about themselves, you're going to run into them. And instead of like real life where you could fantasize about punching them in the face or pushing them into traffic, and don't tell me you don't, you have to kind of like, the best you can do is ban them and move on. And that's not how we were biologically served for millions of years, for however long you believe it took humans to evolve from little protozoan whatevers to what we are now. We're a member of the ape species, and we don't do well with not being able to get that aggression out. Normally, if another member of our species came up and be aggressive, we did something about it. And when we're on the internet, it still triggers that aggression, that fight, that I'm angry response, and you can't do anything about it. So what I've been doing is playing video games, and I've been playing this wonderful racing game in VR, just smacking the crap out of people's cars. And you're not meant to, but it's fun. I mean, they'll hit you. They'll hit you. And that's okay. And I'm like, that's okay. Is it so? I'll like go like 150 and rear end somebody just because I can. And you do have to let that stress out. You seriously have to let the stress and rage and everything out. And that's not feeding the trolls either, because it's remarkably easy to look up people's IP addresses, find out where they live. And it's actually been done before. There was a professional boxer that this, little brat was taunting him, and parents wouldn't do anything. So he found someone that found out where the kid lived, and he went to his house and was banging on the door. Suddenly, the kid's really apologetic, and I'm like, yeah! There should be a service. We could hire people. Hire people with attitude problems, nothing better to do. It kind of be like Uber, but we could call it angry or something. But yeah, I am doing good. And Loki is a god that seriously helps us get in touch with that side of us. He doesn't see anything wrong with getting angry. If you've worked with him any amount of time, and I don't mean like angry like it's going to trigger if you've had a bad past, like I had a bad past. He doesn't see anything wrong with good anger. I mean, it's good to get angry when people don't treat you well. You're supposed to. And it's good to get angry when people are self-righteous or they think they know it all or something else. I mean, when people act like that with me on either channel or Facebook or anything, I just ban you. I don't need you. I may have to track you down. And he's the guy that says, no, you're not going to deal with people acting like this. And you're not going to deal with the circus that often follows me, and we've all run into Loki Circus. I call it Loki Circus. You know what I mean? The self-entitled princess, the one Loki loves best, the creepy stalker that's going to kill Loki in his sleep someday. We've met them all. We've met far worse. We've met ones we cannot mention on YouTube. And it's, you don't have to deal with that. You really don't. And you don't have to deal with, like on the other channel, I deal with, you know, self-entitled brats that think they own the world. And it's not an age thing. People can be in their 50s and act like a 2-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. And I will tell people when they're being bratty. And I had someone once say, "Oh, don't call your viewers brats. You shouldn't do that." And I said, "Yeah, be lucky. You know, Facebook won't let me talk the way I want to." Yeah, YouTube won't let me talk the way I want to. And they didn't have much to say about that. So yeah, and I've been handing out bans on the other channel. I'd lifted all the bans so I could talk to people, and it really didn't fix the comment problem. So I'm going back to handing out bans. I am, because I'm like, I'm not going to deal with your crap, child, because if I have to, I may look up your web address someday to find out where you live. People are going to be, like, unsubscribing now, but I don't care. It's, you know, Loki makes us deal with that. He makes us deal with the rage. He makes us deal with it in a constructive way. The way I do it is I play video games. I get it all out of my system. But it's still, you know, it's like, you know, those people with smart mouths that they usually get away with it in real life, because most people aren't going to hit you because they don't want to go to jail, and that's the only reason. Every so often they'll meet someone that really don't care. They could go to jail. You know, they'll get a caught in 3. They'll happily go to jail. They'll punch you in the face. And it's kind of like those people have to learn to control themselves as well. I've noticed a lot of them come to Loki that they have totally no self-control. And they act like self-entitled children. And Loki will make those people go through the learning curve. He'll either lead them to people, and they'll keep being shunned by, you know, people, and they'll wonder why. And they either have to wake up and realize that, you know, they're acting really immature, or, you know, Loki's good at lessons. He'll lead them into someone that'll pop them in the face. I'm saying that because I've seen it happen repeatedly. You'll see these people that have a chip on their shoulder, and they start working with Loki, and if they don't get it off their shoulder in due time, Loki will make sure he finds someone to knock it off. And then these people are crying, and they're like, "Oh, this is so horrible, and I'm so innocent." And it's like, no, you're going around picking fights. And I know, because I used to have a huge anger management problem. You think I'm angry now. I used to be a lot angrier. And I had a mambo say, "You know, you kind of go looking for these fights." And I was immature, and I was like, "No, I don't. I don't go looking for fights." And yeah, I was, because I had this chip on my shoulder, and I was like, I was ready to punch anybody in the face if they said anything about it. So, yeah, Loki can help you through that immature time, and I know because I went through it. But, you know, he can help us through a lot of other stuff too, and it's just, I'm kind of seeing people get the idea that we can kind of dress him up and, like, desexualize him and, you know, take away the temper problems and everything else, and pretend he's like this little goody two-shoes Jesus II, and he's not. And he would not be happy that way, and we would not be happy with him that way. So, I just figured I'd talk to you about that. There are so many topics I'd like to have on the channel, but unfortunately YouTube is full of prudes, and we can't. Like working certain types of magic with Loki, and I've done like one video on it before, but it's like, not that I'm going to be discussing technique or anything, but you would like to be free to discuss certain things. YouTube kind of puts a muzzle on us, and it's kind of disgusting, but if you want to make anything at all on YouTube, you kind of play along. So, I hope you guys like that. It's important to remember to be your authentic self with Loki. I get kind of tired some days when I come in, and there's like someone that obviously, you know, doesn't belong on the channel, and they're asking like 80 questions, and they're like, "Well, do I have to do this? Do I have to do this?" No, you don't have to do it, but again, this is a channel for mature people. It's not an all ages channel like the other one. And it's, you know, there are certain things I would love to be able to talk about with you guys, but YouTube won't let me. So, yeah, I just figured I would get that out there and I would talk to you guys. Um, I'm looking forward to, you know, tomorrow and Monday because it's gonna be too cold. I'm just staying home. I am. I'm just staying home because I'm like, it's gonna be too cold and it's raining now. It's gonna go down to the 20s. It's gonna be a skating rink out there, and I'm like, no, you want me up your house that badly? And it's 20 degrees, and you expect me to walk from my home to yours on the ice rink? No, you can, you know, you could come get me if you want me that bad, but I'm not leaving my home. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it's kind of weird. You always get like those stalkers that they don't approve of the real Loki. They don't approve of like his sexuality and his anger management problems that he can get from time to time, and how he can be a total princess and diva and that. It's like those of us that love him, it's like that's what's awesome about him. You know, he's not Jesus the second. And if you think he's going to be, you're going to be sorry. You're going to be hurt. Because you're going to see him running around doing this stuff with other people, and he can either lie and say, well, no, I never do that. That's a bad thing. That's a demon. Because, you know, some people will say, if you're having whatever with Loki, oh, that's a demon. It's like, no, that's Loki. That's actually one of his job titles. Ministry of Fun, let's put it that way. And it's nothing to shy away from. But, you know, there are obviously people out there that can't handle that. And so he's a guy that you have to kind of mature into. You really do. He's the one that he'll be patient to wait for you to mature into it. A lot of people cannot get certain gods to work with them because they're the same, you know, in the same field. They deal with fertility and desire and stuff like it. Well, it's more desire than fertility. But, and they don't have the patience, always, to wait around. And then they won't work with these people. And these people are like, I don't understand why. It's like, well, you know, if a god's known for a certain aspect and you want nothing to do with that aspect, it's not like they will never work with you, but you know what I mean. So, I hope you guys like that. I hope that was clean enough for YouTube to not demonetize me or kick me off YouTube. But I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.